Hey YouTube, it's CM Maritime History here back in another video, and today we'll be talking about the SS Raffaello, the sister ship of the SS Michelangelo. The Raffaello was an Italian ocean liner built in the early 1960s for the Italian line by the Cantieri Riunito dell'Adriatico Trieste. It was one of the last ships to be built primarily for liner service across North Atlantic. Sister ship was SS Michelangelo. In 1958, the Italian line began planning new ships to replace the aging Saturnia and Vulcania. Competition from jet airliners had not had a huge impact in the Mediterranean area, and jobs were needed for Italian sailors and shipyard workers, so constructing new superliners seemed like an attractive idea to Italian line executives. Consequently, the new ships grew from the originally planned 35,000 tons to nearly 46,000 tons. They were the largest ships built in Italy since SS Rex and SS Conte de Savoia in the 1930s. The Italian line planned the ships as true ocean liners, divided into three classes. Oddly, even for a liner, all cabins below A deck were windowless. But on the technical side, the ships were among the most advanced of their time. They feature retractable stabilizer wings, highly modernized engineering panels, and many other advantages. The funnels, in particular, as you can see here, were especially designed to keep smoke and soot from the rear decks. By their latticed appearance, allowing wind to fly through them, and the smoke fans on the back. And these are among similar principles used on modern passenger ships today. New ships' interiors were in the Art Deco style that is often associated with ocean liners. Raffaello's interiors were designed by architects such as Michele and Giancarlo Busiro Vici, who had not worked on ocean liner interiors before. As a result, Raffaello gained highly futuristic, more distinctive, and more sterile interiors than the Michelangelo. Despite being planned as identical ships, Raffaello was 2.3 feet shorter, 1.3 feet wider, and approximately 22 tons larger than the Michelangelo. It took 5 years to finish Raffaello, a long time even by the standards of the day. The ship was further delayed when this happened on her sister Michelangelo as well. Wait, I think I said Michelangelo. It took 5 years to finish Raffaello. This happened on the Michelangelo, like I said. Stern vibrations were discovered. Propellers and transmission system were modified to eliminate vibrations, and the ship was finally ready for service in July 1965. Senior Captain Oscar Ribari, commanded the ship on its maiden voyage. Passengers included the Sinovsic royal family, His Highness the Grand Prince of Dalmatia, Ante Ido Sinovsic, and his wife with their 2 children, and Italian Senate President Cesare Merzifora, and his wife, the ship's godmother. In 1966, Raffaello carried 2 Spider 1600 cars bound for an exhibition in the United States. The cars were even driven on the ship's first-class Lido decks, which I believe are this area back here, the open spaces. A first for any ocean liner. 1969 saw Raffaello perform in the Italian film Amore mi Aiutami, made in part to promote the 2 ships. Despite the film officially being set on board Raffaello, it wasn't filmed on board both ships, Michelangelo and Raffaello. In 1970, Raffaello became the first ship whose theater stage was converted into a skating rink, and skating shows were performed for passengers. In 1970, the ship suffered the most serious accident of its career when, under command of Senior Captain Luigi Onetto, it collided with a Norwegian oil tanker off the south coast of Spain in May 1970. No lives were lost. Although Raffaello was the larger of the 2 ships, and its interiors more distinctive, it was always the less important ship in the eyes of Italian line executives. As a result, when the transatlantic traffic started declining due to competition from air traffic, Raffaello was sent cruising in order to make more money, while Michelangelo was used strictly for crossings. Raffaello was not very well suited for cruising. Although it did have a large amount of open deck space, the ship was too large, its cabins too small, and most of them too bare for demanding cruise passengers. The Italian line decided to withdraw Raffaello in April 1975 after the Italian government announced it would not further subsidize the ship. By 1975, it was paying 100 million lire per day, or about $151,500 at the then current exchange rate to keep it sailing. Initially lit up in Genoa and later in the Spezia, near the scrapyard, Raffaello and Michelangelo were inspected by several potential buyers such as Norwegian Cruise Line, Costa Amatoria, Chandris Group, and Home Lines. Chandris, to be honest, between the 1940s and 60s and 70s, To be honest, was where all famous ocean liners went when you didn't want them. The last, home lines, even made a serious offer to buy the ships, despite larger building costs, but the Italian line rejected the offer. In 1976, the Shah of Iran emerged as the buyer the Italian line could accept. The former flagships of Italy, that had cost a total of $90 million in 1965, were sold for $4 million a decade later. Raffaello, $2 million per ship. Raffaello made its final voyage late in the same year from La Spezia into Bushehr, where it served as a floating barracks for the next 7 years. In 1978, plans emerged to resurrect Michelangelo and Raffaello's cruise ships. Raffaello would become Ciro il Grande, named after ancient Achaemenid ruler Cyrus the Great, a luxury cruiser accommodating 1,300 passengers. But Italian specialists sent to evaluate the ship's condition realized the ships were too decrepit to make reconstruction financially viable. As a result, Raffaello stayed in its moorings. The ship was heavily damaged and looted during the Iranian Islamic Revolution in 1979. In 1993, plans were again made to bring Raffaello and Michelangelo back into service as cruise ships, but Raffaello had been hit by a missile during the Iran-Iraq War in 1983 and partially sank in shallow waters outside Bushehr. Sometime later, the wreck of the ship was rammed by an Iranian cargo ship. Local divers further looted the hull in subsequent years. As of 2006, Raffaello's hull remained partially submerged, and there have been reports of plans to strap the ship completely. One source indicates that it is not visible from the surface, but its position is marked by warning buoys. So this is the story of the SS Raffaello, sister ship of the Michelangelo, with a slightly more interesting end, having a half-submerged, half-not-submerged wreck instead of being completely scrapped like the Michelangelo. But I think it is an interesting story for the Italian line. And next video is going to be Leonardo da Vinci, SS Leonardo da Vinci, passenger ship. Then I finally decided what the next ship is going to be before Andrea Doria. SS Cristoforo Colombo, or Christopher Columbus. Actually, it's the sister ship of the Andrea Doria, but since you're doing Michelangelo and Raffaello, I thought I would do a video on, or like do two different videos on, Andrea Doria and Cristoforo Colombo. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Excuse me. Have a good day. Bye.